This video is for my process research report, which will cover overall everything that goes into the process of making a game. For this, I have used two sources, being one from Pingle Studios and the other one from GameMaker.io. So I've used those two to get some of my research for this, plus I've also gone off what I've learned like in class as well. So to start off, the first section of the process of making a game is the planning section. This is a section where, okay, you've got an idea for your game and you need to ask yourself questions like, what's the genre? Will the game be 2D or 3D? What will be the PEGI rating? What's the target audience? Getting your ideas down and making sure, and also what the game's about, what story would have story. Again, all these questions clarified, making sure you have a good indication of what you want. Nothing needs to be set in like stone at this point, though. But yeah, it's quite important also to make sure as well, if you're working in a team as well, they'll also know, which pre-production helps with. Pre-production is the second part of the process, and this section is where ideas are kind of agreed upon, but still can be changed in the future if it doesn't work out. The main part of this is that you will make hopefully you will make a GDD, a game design document, which will highlight everything about the game, so that everyone can load this one document up and get everything they need to know. There's also a version for this for the story called the Story Bible and an Art Bible. So make sure everyone is on the same page. This is the GDD is usually done by the heads of each department. So that would be the head of the programmers, head of the game designers, head of the artists, narrative designers. They'll all come together and they'll write this. This can be a very big document as well, depending on how big the game scope is. Art, also in this section, so art is also started to be prototyped to get the idea of what the art style will look like for the game, and can make changes when needed for it. Then we move on to production, which is the longest process in this, being from anywhere from like 1 year to 5 years to 10 years. It could take a long time. It really depends on the scope of the game. This is where planning and pre-production come together, and people start actually making the full game. Then each department will be aware of what their role in this is. For example, programmers obviously going to be programming everything into the game, like mechanics and whatnot. Your game designer is going to be working on environments, making sure that the coders know what type of what the mechanics should look like for the game. Your narrative designer is going to be working on the story, going to be working on making descriptions for items if that's in your game, working on like NPC names and dialogue between characters and NPCs. then you've got your artists who are also going to be making the art for the game as well. And production can be cut into 7 different sections. The first one is the prototype, which is the first stage you'll get to. This is a completely white box level, completely bare of any art, right? Complete white box, and only the core game mechanics are implemented at this time. Then you have your first playable, which, as the name suggests, is the first playable version of the game. This will have very little art or effects in it. It's mostly base mechanics, but with some visual elements. But it won't have very intricate anything intricate. Then you have your vertical slice, which is the third stage. This part can differ from project to project, but is a section of the game which is fully completed. So you'll complete, like, if your game mostly levels, you'll complete one section of a level, and this is used for advertising purposes, getting ads out there to get the name of your game out there so people can